Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mary Lou. Good morning, Cheryl and Gabrielle and Walter. Isn't this a pretty spot to start? If you saw my post on Facebook, I think I said something like, "Oh, it's not as windy as yesterday. The wind's dropped." Well, it's dropped a little bit. There's still a bit of wind about. It's still pretty cold up here. Hi, Leslie. Hi, Kate. All right, we're going to slowly make our way over towards the lookout that I'm going to start the tour from as people jump on board and until we reach start time. But this is just a pretty little cascade at the top of Kedumba Creek. Oof. How's everyone else's day going? What have you all been up to? Hi, Nicole. Yeah, so I thought I'd start you off with this pretty little cascade this morning. Well, we listened to the galahs. There's a few of them about. I'm hoping some of them might stand still for a little pick. Oh, hi, Leslie. How are you? This is Leslie from Cairo. I saw some of your photos that look like you're having a what do they say? A great crack. You're having a crack. Is that right? I think it all happened in the very early hours of the morning for me though, so I wasn't able to virtually join you. Luxor, yeah, that shows my geography knowledge of Egypt. Looked like you were having a pretty good time though. Was it Kilkenny? No, you were in Dublin. Oh, I don't know. I know you were in Ireland somewhere. Well, thanks for joining me anyway, Leslie. And I'm still looking for a time for one of your tours that fits in with everything that we try to juggle. Between sleeping, researching and delivering tours, we try to fit other tours in to the schedule as well, don't we? All right, so this is this little park just across the road from the Cascade. And at this point, we're at the top of, we're right at the top of the Katoomba Cascades that we'll actually see when we get to the tour itself. So they've put in some stormwater measures here to stop large objects flowing down the Cascades during heavy rain. Hi, Barbara. And this is a bit of a description about the sediment trap that they've implemented to help with stormwater. We have these cool things like freshwater crayfish that we call yabbies in our water system. So it's good to see that measures have been put in place to help to protect water-dwelling wildlife. The yabbies are protected. You can't actually just go out there and catch them and have them for dinner. There's some galahs. Slow down, guys. No, they're off. We'll keep a lookout for them. I'm sure we'll see some as we go. Hi, Pat. Good morning. Thanks for joining me. So we're in Katoomba in the Blue Mountains. And this little park and these cascades, really accessible, very close to the road. You can literally just park your car in this little car park here. And straight away, you're right at the top of the Katoomba Cascades. We're only a couple of kilometres outside of the main town itself. And here's where the water from that little cascade that we saw across the road continues to flow to the top of the Cascades, the big cascade here. And in about 10 minutes or so, we'll be standing down on that little bridge down the bottom there, looking up at the Cascades. But first of all, we have a lookout to see. So let's get over there. Barbara, I think I said hello to you. My memory's shocking. If I didn't, if I missed you. Hi, Barbara. All right. And here's another little watercourse. We've had a lot of rain in the first 6 months of 2022. And that means that the waterfalls are all very full. The sound of water everywhere. Hi, Merky, is it? If I mispronounced that, I apologise. So we'll come back and head down those stairs shortly. But first of all, we're going to take a little detour up this way. And here we have a little crimson rosella on the grass. Let me just zoom in on him before he flies off. Okay, where are you? Just at the top of that shadow there. That one. Sorry, there. Can you see? So that's a crimson rosella. I'm going to try and sneak up on him. Try not to startle him. They like to eat the seeds, so they'll get down on the grass and nibble on the little seeds in the grasses. Well, he's getting alert. There, he's moved into the sun so you can see the colour better. Gorgeous little things, and they have a lovely call. There's another one on the path. Oh, they've flown off. All right. They're pretty forgiving of people, but they don't let you get too close. Hi, Poppy. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Jody. Good morning, everybody. And if I missed anyone, welcome. Welcome to Katoomba. We have just under a minute before start time. Hi, Marie. And the birds are out this morning, but they're very skittish. We'll try and see them when we can. We're just headed out to this cliff view lookout. It says it's a 10-minute walk. That's an exaggeration. It's really only about 5. And this shows you where we are right now. Up here, we're going to head down to the lookout, which is here. And then we'll come back to the Cascades and then on to the Katoomba Falls lookouts over here. So let's go. Let's head off. Look at that, 6-second start time. So let me turn the camera around. I hope to be a little bit further along this track, but we got sidetracked. That sun's no good. Let me turn around. All right, good morning, everybody. You can see I'm all rugged up again. It's 6 degrees in Katoomba with a wind chill on top of that. So to anyone who I haven't met before, my name's Lynn. We're in the Blue Mountains, just to the west of Sydney, about 80 kilometres to the west of Sydney. And we're in the Blue Mountains National Park, or just outside it actually. And we're here today to see the Cascades and lookouts. Before we begin, however, I would like to acknowledge that we meet today on the traditional lands of the Durug and Gundungurra people. I'd like to pay respects to their elders past, present and emerging. And on that note, let's get that camera off me and take a look at the gorgeous Australian bush this morning. Thanks, Marie. Can you hear the water in the background from the Cascades? Hi, Alexis. Hi, Memphis Paul. Memphis Paul Stefan. You're going to have to shorten that name. I'm sorry. Hi, TP. Look at the gorgeous colour of this eucalyptus tree just here. It has a real luster to it, doesn't it? Hi, Fliss. So we're headed first of all out to a lookout which overlooks the Jamison Valley. And on the way to the lookout, we're going to pass the East Station for Scenic Skyway. Scenic World is just across the valley from here. And I've actually just scheduled a tour where we're going to board the Scenic Skyway, and we'll be able to look down into the valley. Oh, Fliss and Aussie, welcome from Newcastle. My daughter's just bought a house in Newcastle. It's okay to feel a little bit homesick. It's okay to maintain that link with home. And let's hope it's more of a nostalgia than a homesickness. Hi, DT. Hi, Chelsea. So the Scenic Skyway is a cable car that crosses the valley. We're just about to come up to the East Station for the cable car now. And what we're going to do on the, I think it's the 1st or the 2nd of September. It's a Thursday here in Australia. Is we'll board the cable car, which crosses the valley, and then its floor literally disappears. So what starts out as an opaque glass floor turns transparent, so you're looking down between your feet into the valley below. It's amazing stuff. The new cable car is actually, oh, look, it's right out in the middle right now. Let's have a look at this. So that's what we'll be on. That's what we'll be on, guys. We're going to do that in a couple of weeks from now. Here it comes. Now, Scenic World, which is basically the operations is that complex across the valley, have actually just created a brand new experience called Beyond Skyway. Hi, Rhonda. And what that allows you to do is actually climb out through a hatchway on top of that. I promise you, we won't be doing this. They allow 4 people to be tethered and climb up through a roof hatch and sit on top of that and have non-alcoholic cocktails at sunset. So who's up for that? I'm so glad we got to see this. Last time I did this tour, the cable car just vanished. We don't know where it went. I don't know how something like this can vanish. But there you go. So keep an eye out for that one. That's the Scenic Skyway tour. which is on around about the 1st of September, depending on where you are in the world. Okay, let's keep moving. We'll get to see it come back from one of the lookouts as we move further around on the track. Oh, thank you, Barbara. Thank you for that. So this is the East Station here, and as far as I'm aware, it hasn't been operating for the last couple of years. I'm not sure of the reason why that would be. Maybe there's some work going on the surrounding tracks or something, but there's just no access. Well, Marie, if you join my tour, we will definitely be doing that. From the safety of your own living room. But look at this. I mean, there are so many amazing lookouts in the Blue Mountains that it's hard to pick a favourite, but this one is definitely a contender. So you can see that there's work going on this track here at the moment. So that track there is closed. So this is called the Cliffview Lookout. Hi, Carol. Oh, Fliss, I hope you can soon come back and just to get a taste of Australia. Wherever you call home, you need to come back for a visit at least, I reckon. What do you think? This is Mount Solitary. Now, this really highlights the terrain of the Blue Mountains, which, as you can see if we look around, they're really not mountains as such. It's a plateau. The entire area is one large plateau where the valleys and gorges have been formed through erosion. And across the way over here, this is where Scenic World is. Hi, Laura. I'm just going to zoom in a little so we can I can describe what they do over there at Scenic World. So we can see the blue cable car at the moment, and these are the cables across the valley. Oh, that wind has blown up. Across to the East Station. But what it currently does, yes, it is really windy. I thought we had a calmer day today, but I was wrong. So Katoomba Falls, we've just seen the bottom of it down there. The top of it is kind of hidden behind that outcrop. So there's the bottom of Katoomba Falls. And what the cable car does is it sits in the middle. So you've got this gorgeous view of the falls on your left. The Three Sisters, which are kind of behind me and tucked around the corner. We'll see those in a moment. And of course, Mount Solitary on the right. And then when the floor disappears, let me just pan down. This is what you're looking down over. They're cockatoos. Your eyesight's better than mine because I was focusing on where I'm pointing the camera at. Yes, the tiny little white moving dots are white cockatoos. Let me just zoom out so you can get an idea of them. So there's the rock ledge there. Here's the handrail. And when we're on the cable car, we're looking straight down into the valley through the glass floor. So Scenic World has 3 experiences, apart from the Beyond Skyway, which... Oh, here we go. Here's the cockatoos here. Here we go. Let me see if we can find them. Little white dots just moving around in the valley. So Scenic World has 3 experiences. You've got the Scenic Railway, the Scenic Cableway, and the Scenic Skyway. We've looked at the Scenic Skyway, which we're going to be experiencing in a few weeks from now. Across there, you'll see an angled platform with some red on it. That's the platform for Scenic Railway. And over to the left of that is the top station, or where it actually comes across. So the cableway comes up over that, what do you call those things? Anyway, that support there. And the top station for the cableway is just there where that sort of big yellow wheel is in the middle. The scenic railway is the interesting one. It's the steepest passenger train in the world, 52 degrees incline, and it travels from that station there down through this rock. There's a crevice, and the bottom station is there. 52 degrees. And I'm hoping I can bring you that as an experience as well, but I have doubts about the signal. I'm going to test that when I do Skyway. Cockies are loud, they sure are. A couple of my tours, they have seriously interrupted what I've been saying. All right, let's head back to the Cascades. So as I was saying, the Blue Mountains as an area, as a region, is in the national park, and the national park is I always forget my numbers. It's around 2,500 square kilometres. There's a little person coming along the track here, and I don't want to try and avoid getting little people in shot. You took the scenic railway 41 years ago. I think that was probably one of the first times I did it as well, Barbara. It's an incredible experience. There's a new train, obviously now. They've upgraded it. And you can actually change the angle of tilt on your seat for an even more thrilling experience. The fun part about it that you probably didn't experience 41 years ago is that as you're taking off, they play the Indiana Jones theme, which is always a crack up. Oh, thank you, Corinne. I'm just listening to the birds. So we're heading back towards Katoomba Cascades. We need to descend some stairs to get to there, and then we'll follow the creek along to another lookout where we'll be able to get another aspect of Mount Solitary. Hi, Anne. Hi, Katie. Now, the word Katoomba is thought to have come from the Gundungurra word, which means shining falling waters. In the Gundungurra language, it more closely sounds like Kedumba or Katoomba, whereas we say Katoomba. So there's a slight difference in the way that they hit their T's and their harsh consonants. The boardwalk is fabulous, Fliss. So what people generally do now is take the scenic railway down into the valley, walk through the beautiful rainforest along the boardwalk, down to the bottom station for the cableway, and then ride back up to the top station on the cableway. And it's absolutely fabulous to take overseas visitors. I took a photo of the original Skyway, which actually sits in a park outside Scenic World now. And when I get a chance, I'll add it to my next tour. I just haven't had a chance to do it. We're living in renovations at the moment. Hi, Tom. Hi, Camillo. And of course, you can still take the further steps and the giant staircase down into the valley and just ride one of those experiences, either the railway or the cableway, back to the top. For the energetic types, all right, so we are going to, whoops, wrong way. We're going to go down here now. And I just want to get my camera right. It's facing in a funny direction. That's better. Head down these steps. I need to take it a little bit slow. And here we get the first glimpse of the Cascades. Alongside the path on both sides, we have ferns, all different kinds of ferns. This one here is interesting. From the little ones like this, alongside the path. Literally the rock walls are glistening with water everywhere you look. Through to these big tall tree ferns. Not too much further. You see the way the ferns tuck in underneath the rock overhang here. Oh, I've got people coming. Hang on. All right, so the signal is going to bounce around a little bit down here, but we will get it back. So be patient. If it appears to drop out, it will come back. Look at this big tree fern here. I agree, Fliss. More and more place names are starting to adopt, if not replacing entirely, the British name, the colonial name, with the Aboriginal name, then at least giving acknowledgement with both names. Hi, Becca. We don't even need to go vertical on this one. We're getting it beautifully framed on a landscape orientation. Love the way the sun's rays are just coming through there. And then down the bottom of the cascade is this little pooling area. The stepping stones are actually looking a lot safer to cross, but I think I'd still rather have someone here with me while holding a gimbal before I attempt to cross using the stepping stones. But that used to be the only way to get across. I am not going to sing it for you, Alexis. I was watching a John Cleese documentary the other day, and he was talking about here how he was enlisted for a show, and he made it quite clear that he does not sing, whereby the director said, no, that's not true. Everybody can sing. I can make anybody sing. And apparently about 15 minutes later, he completely changed his mind. Well, that's me, okay? I don't sing. No problem. The water here is really clear, lovely and clear, just going underneath. As I said, I'm not going to walk across the stepping stones. Well, I could. It's almost a case of, well, I got this far. What do you think? You know all the young male guides definitely do it, wouldn't you? Don't you? How about I take it on? What do you think? It's not that hard. I reckon we're up for it. All right. Hang on, guys. We're going in there. Okay. So on this side, it's almost like a little sandy beach. And you know what? How about we do that portrait orientation after all? Are we ready? Just a quick one. I'll count you in. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going back now. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Hi, Valerie. And there's the stepping stones we just came across. All right. I've spent a lot of time on this part of the tour. I better get a move on. Otherwise, we'll never get to the other end in time. So they've installed a new boardwalk here as well, which is fabulous because these paths, it only takes a tiny little bit of rain and they become muddy and pools of water. I'm going to walk fairly quickly here because I know the signal does dip at this point. We're walking alongside the creek that flows from Katoomba Cascades down to Katoomba Falls. Yes, we're all very sad about Olivia. We're also very sad about Judith Durham from the Seekers. We lost 2 iconic songbirds within a few days of each other. Here's a pretty spot. I'll just zoom in on this. So you get to see the tree ferns, the very tall, thin trunks of the young gum trees with the creek flowing through the middle and the valley in the background. Hi, Annette. All right, let's keep moving, huh? What we're also listening out for and looking out for is lyrebirds, although I haven't seen one Haven't seen one yet since we've been back in the mountains. Just 4 months now. But you often do see them along this track. Hi, Rob and Anne. Yes, there's not much wattle along this track here at the moment. We did see some yesterday. I know Jackie, or it might have actually been her mother, posted some lovely photos in her group of wattles. They were travelling in country New South Wales, I believe, and there was quite a lot of wattle in the area where she was. It's coming out here, but definitely not as profusely as in other parts of the state. So this is the Duke and Duchess of York lookout. And the main feature here is the cliff face with the beautiful colours of the sandstone. Wattle. I should get a chance to show you one. I think you call it either mimosa or acacia. Its botanical name is acacia. And it's the little yellow puffballs. It's said that on any given day, somewhere in Australia, a wattle will be blooming somewhere. Let me do a portrait orientation just here. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. There we go. Even better. An orange champagne drink. Yes, that's true. Hi, Joe. Okay, so there's the cable car over there. And I suspect that they would be boarding their first paying passengers. Well, maybe in a few minutes from now, the complex opens at 10 o'clock. And by my reckoning, it's about a minute to 10 right now. I can hear noises over there, so I'm hoping that when we get round to those other lookouts, we'll get a great shot of the cableway coming across the valley. Look at all this beautiful moss. There's some benefits to a lot of rain. This part of the path, we really just get to see the rainforest nature of this part of Katoomba. Here's another interesting fern. August is the last month of winter, and in Australia we take our seasons from the first of the month, not the solstices and equinoxes. So the 1st of September will mark the beginning of spring for us here in Australia. This is exactly the sort of terrain where I would expect to see a lyrebird. But I don't hear any scratching. Yes, you've had a terrible time with drought in the Northern Hemisphere. Hi, Joan. Even dead fallen tree trunks can make artistic shots. It's the uphill bits that I like the least. Just a little bit more information about the lyrebird, and I'll show you a picture of one shortly. It's an excellent mimic. Not only can it mimic other birds and other animals, it can also mimic mechanical sounds such as chainsaws and camera shutters. Here, look at this. Sorry, but I love these sort of interesting texture type images. Where are we? 33 minutes. I spent way too long trying to follow those those rosellas, didn't I? So this is one of the paths down to the valley, which has been reopened, but there's lots of warnings attached to it because it is still very muddy, very wet. And in fact, it's closed in some parts still. It's a beautiful track. I did that about 10 years ago, I think, with my daughters. Okay, I suspect we may go just a few minutes over time today. I hope everyone's okay with that. Toronto. We're actually considering moving to Toronto. It's one of the places that's on our short list. I love these plants, just sort of growing up through the crevices in the rock. Hi, Jane. We had lunch at the Toronto pub a couple of weeks ago. It's getting hot with all this gear on my walking. All right. Yes, they were a little spiky. I'll see if I can see another one. Lots of plants in Australia are spiky. These ones are really spiky too. And I have them in my backyard and I've been trying to prune them. They attack me all the time. This is a bit of a curiosity. Back in about the, I think it's the 1930s or 1940s, someone thought it was a really good idea to make fake caves as picnic shelters. The only equity we have, Alexis, is in our home, and it's going to work out better for us financially to sell in this area and look at moving to an area where houses are a little bit less expensive. So we're considering a few places. So this is the Solitary Lookout. And you can see that's where we were standing. Let me show you. Where were we? That's the lookout there. That's where we were standing, where that little blue digger is over there. Where is it? Yeah. That's that little blue digger that's doing the work on the track. That's the East Station for the cable car, Scenic Skyway. Oops. Best not to pan when I'm zoomed in. Sorry. Hi, Beatrice. Hi, Jeanette. I just saw movement out of the corner of my eye. If I see what caused that movement, I will zoom in on it. But I haven't tracked it down yet. No, if it's Toronto, it will be Australia. I have no connection to Canada at all. Not that I would not consider going to a country where I have no connection, but there's lots of factors that will contribute to the decision on where we end up living eventually. One of them will be cost of living. Thanks, Beatrice. Oh, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. Look, 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 look. Okay, when it gets a bit further over, I'm going to zoom in on it. So this is the cableway. So what am I calling it? Scenic Skyway. It is a cable car. Let's zoom in on it now. So this is the tour that we're going to do, folks, in about 2 to 3 weeks' time, around about the 1st of September. I will take you on board. Do we want to get a little bit closer? I think so. There's not many people on it. I can only see, I think it's about 4 people. DT, I highly recommend it. If you get an opportunity to do this, I highly recommend it. And it's quite expensive. So a ticket to do all the experiences at Scenic World, and that's the only way they sell tickets these days, is $50. Yep, absolutely. You can move around. Some of the windows are open, some of them are closed. There's a couple of seats. Hi, David. No seatbelts? No, you don't need seatbelts on there. I'm interested in whether they go all the way across to the station or not, or whether they stop. Well, see, the beauty of it is that even if you are sitting down, you've still got fantastic views. No, they're stopping. So where they stop there is they've got a front-on, full-on view of Katoomba Falls from that point, and that's what we'll be doing as well. It's stopped on purpose. It's fine, DT, absolutely fine. Stopping so that people can take photos of Katoomba Falls. And now it's returning. So we'll stay here just for a few minutes longer, and then we'll head round to the other lookouts. You want me to take the wheel? I'm hoping you're all getting some fabulous postcards right now. See, look at this. You can see right through to the other side. You can see Mount Solitary through the cable car. Look at that. And you know how you have photos of people with the Leaning Tower of Pisa holding their hand up to it and that sort of thing? I've seen people taking photos where they've got their mouth open and the cable car is heading towards their mouth. Oh, DT, it's absolutely so safe. I promise you. Look, this shot here with Orphan Rock. That's fabulous, absolutely gorgeous. I'll tell you about Orphan Rock in a moment. And around about here, it's going to start to go out of view, I think. Let's zoom out again. Okay, let's move on to the next lookout. So the wind has dropped. Yep, they're cooing because, of course, it's meant to have an echo effect. Look at this tree here, how weirdly it's growing. Cooing is definitely a good thing to teach non-Australians. Here we are. Who is asking about wattle? Here's a fabulous wattle right here. There's lots of them cooing. And here's our first glimpse of the Three Sisters. Here you are, Fliss. I'll try and get a shot with the wattle. It doesn't have a guardrail in front of it. Come round here. There we go. That shot's got people in it. We'll get another one without the people in a moment. But here we have, it's hard to get this so you can see it, Katoomba Falls Lookout. Let's just look at the falls instead of the sign, huh? Okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to pan down slowly from top to bottom. Then we'll zoom in, and also I will do a vertical orientation shot as well. So let's pan first of all. There's a couple of cockatoos just coming into frame. Let's see if we can zoom in on the cockatoos. Tricky trying to get them in frame when you're zoomed in. All right, now I'm going to do a portrait shot. Thanks, David. Let me count you in. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I'll count you out again. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, sorry, my gimbal got in the way there. Oh, smile. You want me to... Oh, those cockatoos. They're pesky cockatoos. There we are. You can see them just flying around there. He's just landed on a branch over there. Let me see if I can get him. There we go. So there's a couple just in that branch there, but I think I'm having trouble focusing. All right, let's zoom out again. This is our first glimpse of the Three Sisters, and we'll be going to see them a little bit closer than this tomorrow. Yeah, there's walks all the way down through here, David, at different levels, so you can go right down into the valley. Here, look at this. This one's got more people on it. We're getting away from them. Zoom in and get away from them. So don't forget, everybody, anyone who hasn't been on one of my tours before, please hit the follow button at the top of the screen so you can get notifications from me. We're going to be, look at this, the Three Sisters and Skyway. Grab those postcards, guys. We're going to be on the Skyway cable car in just a couple of weeks from now. Thanks, Marie. I appreciate that. All right, but we're going to move on to one of the other lookouts. Okay, looks like it's gearing up for tours, so we should see it again First of all, though, I want to show you, this is our national flower. This is the wattle, what we call a wattle. It's just one variety of hundreds of different varieties of acacias. Some of them, like this one, have that long stem, and others are just little puffballs. They're the ones I'm looking for to try and show you before we finish up. So we're about to go down. We're about to go down here. All right. So this is the one that's a bit like a kid's cubby house. You know how kids love just little pokey places. Just go down these steps first. I'm trying to think where I can show you all of my pines. I can't think of any offhand around this area. When I was living in Sydney, I used to do a tour at the Botanical Gardens. Of course, they've got one there. Just want to show you the way these plants are growing on the inside of this rock here. Look at this. I think this is really cool. There we go. And we're going through here. And we just come around this little corner. Ah, perfect. There it is. Skyway with Orphan Rock. Now, of course, Orphan Rock used to be the tourist attraction. Oh, thank you, David. I know how much more pleasing it is when you take your own postcards and, you know, the angle's right, or there's no people in the way, or whatever. I'm going to zoom in on Orphan Rock. You might be able to make out, just sort of winding around the top of that light section of rock at the front there, there's actually a guardrail. So this used to be the tourist attraction. This used to be where people came and climbed up Orphan Rock. And can you imagine doing that in the clothes that they would have been wearing back in those days? Not much lycra back then. Quick story about the three sisters. So the three sisters, there's two legends, two main stories that are told. Let me just zoom in on them while I talk. The first is that they were three young women from one tribe who fell in love with three young men from another tribe, a tribe that they were at war with, basically. And relationships between the two tribes were forbidden. So the two tribes went to war, and the medicine man for the young girls' tribe turned them into stone to keep them safe, but he was killed in the war, so he wasn't able to restore them to their normal form. So that's the one story. And the other story is that their father used to go down into the valley to go hunting, but there was a bunyip. So to keep his girls safe from the bunyip, he hid them, instructed them to hide behind a rock to stay safe from the bunyip. Unfortunately, one of the girls got scared when she saw a centipede and threw a stone at it, which attracted the attention of the bunyip. And the father quickly turned the girls into stone to keep them safe, and turned himself into a lyrebird to hide from the bunyip. Unfortunately, he lost his magic stick while running away, and that's why you see the lyrebird constantly scratching around in the bush. He's looking for his magic stick. So that's the two stories. Their names are apparently Meanie, Wimla, and Gunny-Doo. But that's also a myth. Apparently those names were made up by a white schoolgirl. So who knows what the actual story is. There is truth to the story of the legend of the three sisters, and apparently the seven sisters constellation is important in Indigenous Dreamtime storytelling. So who knows. The name of the medicine man was Tiawan, and this is what a lyrebird looks like. So there you go. That's the story of the three sisters. I need to zoom out to return this way. I've got about 2 minutes to get to the Witch's Leap Falls, and I will say goodbye to you all when we get round to Witch's Leap. Sorry I've taken too long on this tour. We spent too long trying to chase rosellas, didn't we? And looking at the cable car, which is crossing again, but we're not going to be tempted. We're not going to be tempted to look at the cable car again. You're welcome, DT. To be honest, I love showing this area to people. I love showing it off. I could always come here for a walk myself, but it's so much more fun to actually be able to share it with someone. Thank you, Barbara. I appreciate that. Pamela mentioned that there's the Three Sisters in Canada. I haven't seen that tour as yet. I must catch that sometime as well. I've got a stone in my shoe. Okay, and this is the Witch's Leap. So my understanding is that the reason it's called Witch's Leap is that when they light these falls up at night, all these little lookouts have lights. I'll show you one of them here. So they light up these cliffs and waterfalls at night, and a lot of the rock formations. And when they do, there's a shadow. There's a prominent shadow that appears across on the opposite cliff here that actually looks like a witch's face. So this is called the Witch's Leap Falls. Let me do a vertical shot for you. 1, 2, 3. And I'll tilt down a bit. So that's the Witch's Leap Falls. Zoom in a little. There we go. All right, everybody. So that's a good place to finish up. Let me turn the camera around. Thank you so much again for joining me. I always love your company. As I said, I could just come out here for a walk by myself, but it's just so much more fun to have company. Is there a Vampire's Rock? There isn't a Vampire's Rock. It was cold when I started out this morning, but I've warmed up nicely. And as soon as I turn the camera off, I'm going to be taking off all these layers. All right. So tomorrow I'll be at the Three Sisters at Echo Point. We will take you very close to the Three Sisters. We'll take you so close you almost feel like you'll be able to touch them. Thanks for the follow, Anne. And thanks for the thanks, everybody. It is my pleasure. And I look forward to seeing you. Sorry, Tony, I'm literally just finishing up. But what I'll do is just before I sign off, I'll give you a quick look at where we are located. All right, everyone. And always grateful for any tips. If I miss saying thank you to anybody, I apologise. I'm always grateful. I'm always appreciative of anything that you're able to spare. Let me turn the camera around and sign off at the Witch's Leap Falls. Bye, everybody. Bye now.